welcome to the show. How are you?
I am so happy to be here. I'm a big fan of this podcast, so I was honored to be invited on.
How did you then become interested in personal finance and how did financial grownups come to be?
Okay, gold star for that question. I love this is my favorite thing to talk about. And I'm going to sound a little bit harsh, and I think there is absolutely a role for stations like CNBC. I had a great experience there, and I think they do a wonderful product. That said, for the average person, I don't know that it's the best use of your time to spend your day watching the minute by minute moves of stocks. First of all, it's just not healthy. It's like spending your day on TikTok. It's almost the same kind of thing where it just sucks you in, right? It's just not healthy. And also, it's not good for your investing. It's much better to take a broader focus, have a diversified portfolio, and be thoughtful about what you're doing and not be influenced by the day-to-day different announcements. You should be aware of them, but I don't think we need to spend that time doing that. And so after years of doing this kind of news, where I joke that when I left Reuters, I tried to make what we do these sort of composite reels in broadcasting, where it's sort of a highlight. And it seemed like every single day I gave an update on what the Fed was going to do, was doing, or did do. And they were all at that time period. Now it's actually very interesting. At the time, though, it was no action. I was constantly reporting on the fact that the Fed did nothing. And I was also reporting a lot on this endless stream of earnings reports and economic data. And for most of us, for example, inflation, very interesting right now. You should definitely be aware. Maybe you check in monthly. You know that inflation went up because maybe you're interested in I bonds, or you see the prices going up at the grocery store. You want to have some idea what's going on. So it makes sense high level to be aware of this. I'm not saying to bury your head in the sand, but we don't need that. It's just exhausting. And it became exhausting after I did it for 15 years. And so I wanted to find a way to make a more specific impact on people's lives. And I thought, well, what can I do? And my first book, How to Be a Financial Grown-Up, it's impactful money stories from high achieving business headliners, famous people in the business world, where they share their sort of aha moments about money. And so that was really a very special book to me. I think that it accomplished a lot, and it really set me on a path where I could do more good work in the personal finance space. I then created the Financial Grown-Up podcast, which I've now rebranded a little bit to Money Tips for Financial Grown-Ups, just to be a little more clear about it. And also now I have my new book launching, Financial Grown-Ups, which is for parents to help their young adults become more everyday money smart.
What are some of the give me the quick, like 2-3 tips that some things that you might be implementing now with the kids at that age range to help them have success as they reach college age and beyond?
One of the challenges is if you're in a fortunate situation and your kids kind of know that you can afford something, you can't always say, I'm not getting you that because it's not in the budget or we can't afford it, because they're on to you. And so one thing I talk about a lot is just, the fact that this is what we're choosing to do, not what we have to do. So it's important to change the language and not necessarily make it about a scarcity mindset, make it about a deliberate and intentional mindset where this is how we choose to live our life, especially when they're at a fragile age in their teenage years where there's so much peer influence and peer pressure, and they're starting to see things on social media and they're curious, why don't I have that? And you have to explain to them, you don't have that, not because we can't afford it, because that's just not what we value the most with our money. And there's other things that we're doing. And depending on the child's maturity and interest, start showing them things about investing, start showing them, well, we have this property, because by the way, they can look up a lot of information. So you're not really revealing a whole lot when they can very quickly figure out what your home is worth, what their school costs if they attend private school. They can look those prices up. So they know if you're sending them to a fancy summer program, they're on to you. So rather than keeping a secret that's not a secret, be a little bit more open to them, again, to your comfort level, and let them know sort of what life costs. And maybe it will motivate them to pay attention in school, as it did. I talked about our oldest, that she really decided she wanted to live in New York City where she'd grown up, and she became aware of the cost. And that did change her choices. And she's really happy with the choices that she made. The other thing I would really stress is communication, that make sure that you're not judgmental when they make a spending mistake so that they don't not tell you. And this goes back to, I use an app where I could see, for example, last year, my son would go, I would give him his allowance, and I could see he went to Krispy Kreme donuts. And, he thought he could hide it from me. And obviously I could see exactly what he bought. But it's important to just say, I'm not mad at you, but let's talk about this. Maybe you could get a salad next time. And if they say the salad's more expensive, you can say it's not about the money, it's about the health. And let's plan what you're going to be buying with your friends. Let's plan where you're going to go. Let's plan. You want to buy a present for your friend's birthday? Let's plan a budget so that there's constant communication, and really watch the judgment, not just with your words, but with your tone. And I say that based on so many mistakes that I've made, because they will try to hide things from you if they feel they're going to be judged, especially as teenagers. And you want them to know you might push them to do something different, but that you're not going to judge them, yell at them, punish them, and so on. You're going to work with them to get them on a better path.